Today I'd like to have a chat about some of the performance products that Forge Motorsport manufacture for performance Audis. We're going to be talking about the RS3 specifically. That's the 8V and the new 8Y. So the first product that I'd like to talk about is our turbo elbow, FM INL H9. And this replaces the stock OEM cast elbow. As you can see, when I hold them both together, the size, the volume is very different. One of the benefits is this is made from a multiply silicone. It has an iron oxide lining, and that's to prevent heat getting into the elbow. So the lower the inlet air temperatures, the more air you can get in, the bigger the explosion. There's a massive difference there to the feed of the turbo. One of the added benefits about FM INL H9 is not only is it bigger in diameter and volume, but we also supply several billet adapters. You might ask, why have we got 4 adapters? And the reason why we've got 4 adapters, this one here is for stock turbo, so perfect for your stage 1 and stage 2 vehicles. Some of the guys in the Audi community, they really highly tune their vehicles. One of the things they do is they change to hybrid turbos. This adapter here would be for TTE, so that's the turbo engineers, hybrid turbo, and that's a TTE 625. We move on to a TTE 700, and we even do as big as a TTE 777. So they bolt directly to the face of the turbo. The mouth on the turbo, the inlet has been enlarged. With this, it's almost like a velocity stack. Air is speeded up as it goes into the turbo. Of course, it's dependent on the tune and depending on what intercooler and other performance parts you have, but really good modification. That's suitable for your right hand and left hand drive. And as I said before, that's right hand 8V, 8Y, and left hand 8V, 8Y. Moving on from INL H9, we have our inlet pipe, which is INL H8. This is one that we designed many years ago. It's a great combination to run with H9. It fits to the stock airbox. Lots of people want to run the stock airbox to sort of keep as much cold air in as possible. Obviously it's ducted. And this replaces the stock pipe that you can see here is very, very small. This is an 89mm pipe. So again, increases capacity, performance, flow into the turbo, bigger bang, more power. As I mentioned, we're here at KSF. We've been out to KSF now. This is our third time this year. It's involved lots of testing. We'd like to say thanks to Frank for supporting us with this. Also thanks to David in the UK who loaned us his RS3 8Y. Really nice gent. We couldn't have done this without the development partners that we work with. And also to Litchfield Motors who supported us with UK dyno testing. What and why have we gone for composite? Heat soak is one thing. I'm going to pass you over to Tom and he's going to talk about why we scanned, why we used composite, what we needed to do to avoid areas within the engine bay that were really quite restrictive and a bit of a challenge.
So as he's gone through and he's explained, obviously there's lots of different alternative ways we can basically help to sort out the Audis that are being brought along here, 8Y, 8Vs, to really get the most power out of it. So obviously as we've gone through in other videos as well so far, you've sort of seen those step by step. I've just seen different vehicles, different places, different people within the tuning community that we're using to really get to this end result here. So obviously we're super stoked. Obviously we've got the carbon in front of us as Lucas mentioned. We've gone through all of our development at this point really. And now this is sort of just like the final steps. Really just making sure it's going to be running well on stock vehicles as we have seen. And now on the tuned spicy RS3s, which is the bit that's really interesting.
Yeah.
As you've seen, we've gone through and we've scanned effectively 4 different cars to create one scan file that we can then see all of the intricacies and different areas we need to try and avoid. The brake master was the biggest difficulty we had within this project really. The engine itself obviously isn't really going to be moving, but that's going to be the main thing that moves as you go from your pedals in the left to your pedals in the right of the car. So that's why what we've got here is a really intricate design of our NDK47. It's moving around, it's trying to get away from all those areas of movement within the engine, going towards the firewall, and ensuring that what we've got here is the most flowing, large void that we can basically produce. Gone for carbon fibre out of it. It's going to make sure that it can then be as large as possible within the engine bay. Obviously, if we'd gone down the route of having silicon, it was going to have to be a lot thicker. We went on the route of going for a cast item or a fabricated item, obviously going to have a bit more heat soak in it. And due to the heat that being produced from these, we knew we could try and avoid it by going down this route. Obviously, the intricacies of this design, it would basically have been impossible to manufacture it in any other way, really, in a cost-effective method. So as you can see, we'll show how this actually fits inside the vehicle as well and really see how we can make the most out of it. 6-inch for the filter on that end, going to effectively a 4 to 3.5 to 3, depending on what you want on that end, as Luke's mentioned, through different turbo inlet and turbo methodologies we can use. And it's going to be good to see how much power we can actually make out of it.
Tom had gone through the carbon and why we use composite. One of the things that we felt was really important to bring into the design were these two couplers, okay? They're manufactured from 6082 aerospace billet aluminium, manufactured in our headquarters in the UK. And what we wanted to do is we spoke about the INL H9 and the performance benefits, the yields that it can give. Now, as you can see, this end is a lot bigger than this stock one. That's at 89 millimeters. With this intake, it gives you the opportunity to run straight to our INL H9 elbow. So that would insert into the elbow there. Alternatively, if you're just on a stock car or stage 1 tune and you're still running the cast iron item, cast aluminium I should say, this will mate to the face of here with a silicone joiner that we supply. For the guys in the USA and Germany, they do run some of our competitors' products. And because the master cylinder is on the opposite side, because they're left-hand drive cars, they can get a bigger inlet elbow in there, 4-inch. So we've got the opportunity, basically, if I pass that over to Tom, I'm going to show you what we can do. It's really, really easy to interchange. Literally, we screw on the adapter and it's going to then be installed onto the vehicle, fit in place. Maybe you might run the stock inlet for a while, the stock one, and then decide to move on to this product, depending on what your budget's like.
One of the biggest things we want to make sure we could achieve with this is that if you are looking to do any changes to your vehicle, as you probably are, it's always going to be a fluid modification process with these. You're going to start off stockish and build up slowly, stage by stage. You know that you can invest into a decent sized intake that's going to work on a stock vehicle all the way up to the spiciest of the RS3s, like this one sat here, and you know you can keep the same intake. As soon as you're looking down of having to change and swap, obviously those extra costs we can basically help you to avoid, which that's the end goal with it for us.
A little bit about this RS3, Frank's RS3. The original car that we did the development on was a saloon. He's now got a hatchback. So currently, as it stands today, this is, I believe, one of the fastest RS3 8Ys in the world at the moment. It's running on ethanol. It's also got something a little bit special, and that is a hybrid turbo from the turbo engineers. So it's a TTE 700 installed on this vehicle. I believe it's got OPF delete. So I think all in all, we're probably going to start taking the car apart. As we take it apart, there are a couple of other modifications. It's got our blow-off valve. So it's a DV7, which is the inlet elbow to the throttle body as well, with a large displacement Forged Motorsport valve. And we're sort of going to get some shots for you, show you how easy it is to install. If I can do it and Tom can do it, then any of you enthusiasts can do it, you know. Then we're going to do some pulls on the dyno and see what sort of figures we're going to make.
So the only other thing it's got is Int 33 as well, which is our intercooler. So as soon as you got those few little items thrown on with the map, that's what's getting this obviously up to the power figures you're going to see very shortly.
With the forged products, ultimately when you tune your vehicle, it's making the engine a lot safer. The inlet air temps are safe, your air-fuel ratios are then well balanced. You end up with a really fast car, something that's exciting to drive, something that puts you in a seat every day when you get in it. It just brings a big old cheesy grin. So I think we should crack on. What do you reckon?
Let's go for it.
Yeah.